How Vivek Ramaswamy became a household name.
The money's gone. I just felt
I
like
didn't know
that
you
was...
had that affiliation, though. And it's kind of an interesting line of business where so much has changed because the way these social media platforms have worked have completely changed the success factors of these businesses, right?
Did you know that Vivek Ramaswamy's follower count didn't just grow? It spiked by 2 million in a single night, but only after a single bold move that almost no other public figure has dared to try? In this video, we're uncovering exactly what he did, why it worked so fast, and how it's changing the influencer game. Stick around to learn the unique tactics behind this massive surge, and see why they might be the key to building an unstoppable online presence. Vivek Ramaswamy's story begins in Cincinnati, Ohio, where he was born to Indian immigrant parents. Raised in a household that valued hard work and education, he quickly stood out as a high achiever, graduating at the top of his class. Ramaswamy attended Harvard University, where he studied biology, and then went on to earn a law degree from Yale. But despite his academic success, his real ambition lay in the business world, where he saw the potential to make a real impact. After gaining experience in finance, he joined QVT Financial, a hedge fund where he managed a biotech portfolio. This role gave him a closer look at the pharmaceutical industry, igniting a passion that would soon drive him to make a bold move. He became frustrated with how large corporations were handling drug development, focusing more on profit margins than on innovation. He believed there was a better way and wanted to shake up the industry. Vivek Ramaswamy's business success is largely rooted in his innovative approach with Roivant Sciences, a healthcare company he founded in 2014. The idea behind Roivant was groundbreaking. Instead of spending years on drug research from scratch, Ramaswamy focused on acquiring promising drug candidates that large pharmaceutical companies had set aside. His strategy was to give these stranded assets a second chance, quickly advancing them through clinical trials and bringing them to market faster than traditional drug development paths.
So the whole business of Roivant was run the business more efficiently than standard pharmaceutical companies by doing two things. One is there were certain areas where big pharma had decided they're not going to develop these medicines. Why? Just because they're groupthink. They're a bunch of lemmings, if I may say so, right? They all go in certain directions in packs at the same time.
Roivant's model gained rapid traction. Within just a few years, Ramaswamy and his team had launched multiple subsidiaries, or VANTs, each dedicated to specific therapeutic areas like neurology, dermatology, and oncology. These subsidiaries, such as Axovant, focused on neurology, and Myovant, focused on women's health and endocrine diseases, allowed Roivant to take a more targeted approach, attracting significant investments and partnerships from global pharmaceutical leaders. For example, Axovant's initial public offering in 2015 was one of the largest biotech IPOs at the time, a testament to the interest and confidence investors had in Ramaswamy's vision. Ramaswamy's strategy didn't just focus on financial growth. It aimed to address inefficiencies in the healthcare industry. He saw an opportunity to challenge big pharma's slow-moving pipelines by leveraging unused but promising drugs, giving patients faster access to treatments. This approach put him on the map as a disruptor, someone willing to challenge traditional models in an industry known for its caution and bureaucracy. Under his leadership, Roivant expanded rapidly and attracted high-profile investors, including SoftBank, which invested $1.1 billion in 2017, one of the largest investments in biotech at the time. This funding allowed Roivant to continue expanding its portfolio and deepened Ramaswamy's reputation as a biotech innovator. Ramaswamy's success wasn't just measured in financial terms. It also influenced the broader industry. By 2019, Roivant's unique model had inspired other startups to explore similar strategies, emphasizing efficiency and innovation in drug development. His work with Roivant exemplified how a bold vision, coupled with strategic risk-taking, can transform an industry. This success not only established Ramaswamy as a respected entrepreneur, but also as a figure to watch in both business and beyond.
And so the goal would be, as a pharmaceutical company, you're going to have some bets that succeed, some that fail, but have more successes that are large enough to make up for the failures, and do that better than big pharma by also reducing the cost of drug development by giving people the incentives to get to those answers more quickly. So that was the founding premise of the business. So Roivant started with its own money, And then each of those subsidiaries, or at least certain of those subsidiaries, raised their own capital at a certain point in time, even though they were subsidiaries of Roivant. That was the way the business was structured.
Ramaswamy's success with Roivant made him a notable figure in the business world, but he didn't stop there. With a desire to impact society on a larger scale, he later transitioned into the political sphere, using his platform to address issues beyond healthcare. This background set the stage for his rapid rise in popularity and influence. Vivek Ramaswamy's entry into the political world marked a significant shift from his career in business. Known for his entrepreneurial success and outspoken views, Ramaswamy's involvement in politics began to take shape during the last U.S. election cycle. While he was previously focused on business, his interest in the political landscape had grown over the years, particularly in response to cultural and social debates he saw emerging in the public sphere. His book, Woke Incorporated, laid the groundwork for his political philosophy. In it, Ramaswamy criticized what he described as woke capitalism, arguing that corporations had begun taking stances on social issues in a way that prioritized virtue signaling over genuine impact. His critiques resonated with a large audience, particularly conservatives and libertarians, who felt that corporate America had become too focused on social agendas at the expense of business fundamentals. This public stance helped build a base for his later political involvement. As debates around free speech, corporate influence, and social issues intensified, Ramaswamy saw an opening to bring his ideas directly to the political arena. He began making more media appearances and speaking at conservative events, positioning himself as an advocate for free market principles and limited government intervention. His strong, often provocative opinions set him apart as a unique voice willing to challenge both major parties on certain issues, especially when it came to corporate influence in politics. During the last election, Ramaswamy's role in the political scene grew more prominent. He quickly became a well-known figure in conservative circles and even considered running for office. Although he ultimately didn't run in the 2024 presidential election, he actively supported candidates who aligned with his values and contributed to campaigns that emphasized free speech, anti-censorship, and a pushback against corporate activism. He also used his growing platform to encourage others to critically evaluate the role of big tech and big business in politics, warning about the risks of allowing corporations to wield too much power over individual freedoms.
Proud to say, the American dream exists. I know it exists because I've lived it. It's real.
Yeah.
But I want to make that accessible to more people rather than penalizing those who actually succeed in achieving it for themselves.
Ramaswamy's influence was particularly felt in his commentary on political issues that intersected with his business background. He often spoke about the intersection of government policy and private enterprise, arguing that government regulations should not be overly restrictive on businesses. This perspective made him an influential thought leader, particularly among voters who felt frustrated with the traditional political establishment. Despite not holding a political office, Ramaswamy's impact on the political discourse was undeniable. His messages resonated with younger, tech-savvy voters and business-minded individuals who saw him as a fresh voice in the conservative landscape. By the end of the election cycle, he had successfully established himself as a politically active figure who could bridge the gap between the business world and conservative politics. Ramaswamy's political rise reflects a broader trend of successful entrepreneurs entering the political arena with bold ideas and challenging established norms. His journey from business to politics highlights how his beliefs about free markets, individual rights, and corporate responsibility positioned him as a unique and influential figure in American politics. His influence continues to shape discussions on the role of business in society and the power dynamics in modern politics.
So there's a lot of ways to shape the country. I'm looking forward to playing a big role, and we have some big ideas for what's ahead.
But how do you think you make the decision? I mean, you have an amazing, not just a fork in the road, but maybe three things. We throw the governor.
Yeah, so
Vivek Ramaswamy's surge of 2 million followers overnight was the result of a savvy strategy that combined his understanding of digital engagement with a focus on public sentiment. As he transitioned into the political sphere, Ramaswamy used social media to amplify his message on free speech, corporate influence, and political polarization. But it wasn't just his ideas that drew people in. It was the direct, unfiltered way he presented them. Just before his followers spike, Ramaswamy shared a post addressing a controversial issue with bold, unapologetic language, capturing attention and sparking widespread engagement. This post quickly went viral, resonating particularly with younger, tech-savvy users disillusioned by traditional media. His timing was crucial. By aligning his content with current events and hot-button issues, he ensured his posts were seen just as people sought alternative perspectives. His engagement with popular influencers and commentators further expanded his reach, creating a ripple effect across platforms. To sustain the momentum, Ramaswamy doubled down on engaging with followers, responding to comments and fostering discussions, which encouraged more people to return to his page. His strategy was less about polished branding and more about building a community around his direct approach, setting him apart as a figure unafraid to challenge conventional narratives. This calculated mix of timing, authentic engagement, and a bold communication style resulted in a dramatic overnight growth in followers. Ramaswamy's unique approach and timely posts not only amplified his reach, but also solidified his presence as a compelling and influential voice on social media, attracting followers eager for genuine discourse.
To say, you know what? You're going to take risks, you're going to have failures along the way. And it wasn't the last failure. You have other small drugs that have failed along the way too. But the company is built to make sure that the engine that produces those drugs is still stronger, learns from every success and failure.
Vivek Ramaswamy's journey from business innovator to political influencer is a powerful example of how bold moves and authentic engagement can drive massive online growth. Whether you agree with his views or not, his story shows the impact of standing out in a crowded digital world. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the stories behind today's biggest influencers. See you next time.